All right, this is the webinar for the digirights.info. And just to sort of tell you, ones who haven't seen any of these webinars before or haven't had any interaction with the course is about teaching the rights of the GDPR that people got through the legislation since last May. And it's basically, the course is created because there was a void in the GDPR space for citizens. All the education has basically been focused on companies and government employees. So we got some funding from Internet Society and the Finnish Foreign Ministry to create this free course for everyone, so that citizens can learn about their rights in GDPR. And you can see here, I've put an address. It's sli.do/digirights. And you can make your questions there. I'll try to answer them in writing, and I will as well read out your questions loud and then answer them so that everybody can hear. So if you have any questions about the course or the GDPR, or even just how to get on to the course, please make your questions. We want everybody to learn about GDPR. And it takes about 7 hours in total to go through all the material. It's about 7 modules. It's about 1 hour per module. So it's not really that much time. You can go through the course on your mobile phone at your own convenience. And you spend that 7 hours, and it's knowledge for you for life. I think it's definitely worth doing. And also, like, all the material is made with a Creative Commons license, so it's freely available, free to use for everyone. And for example, if you wanted to charge people on training the course and the contents of it to other people, to some groups, you can do so. You don't have to ask for our permission to do so. So really, it's all free material for everyone to use as they please. Now, if you have any questions, please type them at this address here. I think one of the good things that you can learn about this course is how to get rid of direct marketing. That's including telemarketing. GDPR is very explicit in a way that it gives you the right to deny any direct marketing from a company. There are no excuses for it. You can do this at any time. You just send them a message and tell them to stop it. And also, like, if you don't have any questions or feedback on the material itself, you can also try to ask me some general questions about the GDPR. Hopefully I'll be able to answer them. The law is quite big in itself, but I'm starting to know at least the sort of most important rights about the court, about the GDPR. So you can ask your questions. You can do it at this address. That's sli.do/digirights. we had some difficulties in the beginning of the course after it was launched, but there should be no technical issues anymore. And the developers of the LiveLearn platform, where the course resides, they're busy making the web interface for the course so that people could use it with any browser they usually use or browse the internet with. We can maybe wait another 10 minutes. I can show you a little bit about the web interface. I think at the moment is mainly for us creators of the course to be used, but I can show you how it will look in the web interface. Okay, there's a question. Is there some news about Facebook in Germany? Well, I have to say, I think there's news about Facebook in Germany almost every week. Germany has been really using the powers given by the GDPR to sort of ramp down the privacy invasion done by Google and Facebook. And it's really like, although some parts of it are coming from the government or their data protection authority, it's important for all citizens to know about these rights, so they know when those rights are being violated. And it's really the exercising of these rights that we can find out what they are doing wrong. And also in the course, you can give us feedback. You can go on the lander page, and there are forms for giving us feedback on the SAR, which is a subject access request. Those are the data requests that you make to a company to ask for data, or to ask them to, for example, erase your data. So it's yeah, we can use this information collectively. If you do this feedback for us, we can create a database out of that information. You can still remain anonymous. We won't attach any personal information to that spreadsheet, and we can use that information to pass on to the data protection authority in your country to make a case against an organization that's violating your rights set in the GDPR. We are using also the same address for the live streaming for the people or the participants of the course in Finland. So if you want to ask your question in Finnish, that's fine as well. Eli jos haluatte tehdä kysymyksiä suomeksi, niin se kelpaa hyvin myös. So far, we've got about a little over 100 participants on the course. and hopefully you'll be able to tell your friends about the course. It's really free and open for everyone. And it's quite handy using it in your mobile phone. That's what the LiveLearn platform was really designed for. And now they're also extending it to normal web interface in your browser. But the dedicated app in mobile phone, both Android and iPhone, is really quite good. So I recommend using that. And if you want to see some videos that we created for the course, those can be seen in vimeo.com. And if you search for DigiRights, you'll be able to find our videos. So yes, be brave. Ask any questions you might have about the course or GDPR, or even just how to get in on the course. I'll be glad to help. Okay, I can show you a little glimpse of how the web interface looks for the course. Unfortunately, that's still not available for all the participants, but this is our sort of creator account for the LiveLearn platform. So I'll be able to show you the web interface through that. Just let me see. Okay. Yeah, you should be able to see it now. So this is what it looks like. In essence, the borders on the side are something that you wouldn't see on the mobile platform. But I can scroll a bit. So it's really the central part here that is the what is shown in your mobile application. So this is the first module. It's an introductory module about why should we citizens care about our digital rights. We have our little mascot robot here. He's called Data, and he's helping you go through the course. The second module is GDPR in a nutshell. It gives you the basic concepts and basically lists all the rights that we go through. We think those are really the most crucial rights for citizens. And there's 9 modules, 9 steps there. It's about 8 different rights. There's the third module, which is the ecosystem of your personal data content. That module is basically helping you to sort of understand in what places your data lives in with different organizations. So it's giving you tools and ideas of where that data is and what's it like. The fourth module, it's about understanding and requesting your data. That's the first module where you're actually given templates to understand and request your data. Yeah, and like I said, we've made templates for data requests or subject access requests, SARs, and you really just have to fill in your details, like your name and address, and then you can send it off to the organization you want your data from. fifth module is about different rights or different ways to exercise these rights. There's basically writing a rectification request, and that's basically asking if you first receive the data that the organization has of you, and then you'll be able to see that all this data isn't correct. So then you can write them a rectification request to correct some of the data, update it possibly. There's also the creating and erasing, or there's creating erasure and or to be forgotten request. So you can remove your data from the organization. This is especially effective against direct marketing companies, including telemarketing. And we've made templates for all of these. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible to exercise your rights. The sixth one is about special digital rights. That's including the rights of a guardian, of a child, or other types of guardian. It's about kids and personal data, which is and the GDPR, processing sensitive data. This might include your sexual orientation, your beliefs, religion, so on. And the final module, module 7, it's about MyData, which is a Nordic model on managing personal data, and essentially it is an attempt to give the right or give you control of your data to yourself. There are different ways to do that, like for example, data brokers that are controlling data in different services that you have. I think that's sort of it's the future of personal data. Now I'll stop sharing and see if you guys have come up with any questions. Oh, none so far. As you might have figured, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not even a data protection expert. So that's sort of a weakness and a strength of this course, that we've tried to bring the threshold as low as possible to understand your rights. I mean, I've had to understand them. And it's really, we've tried to make it in plain language as possible. And the course exists in English and Finnish.
You receive a call from an unknown number, and you're wondering whether to answer or not. It could be something important, but it turns out
Let me do that again. Sorry about that. Just share the screen. So, okay, this is basically a video, like an introduction to the course. It takes 1 minute, so maybe we can watch that while people think about the questions they're going to make.
You receive a call from an unknown number, and you're wondering whether to answer or not. It could be something important, but turns out to be just another telemarketer. Since May 2018, the EU's General Data Protection Regulation came into force with the right to be forgotten, among others. You now have the right to request erasure of your data and restricting its processing, thus stopping telemarketers from following you. Traditionally, the data that organizations have had about you has been the organization's property, with which you have had little control over. This has now been flipped around for the citizens' benefit. Once the organization no longer needs your data, or you want to revoke consent, they are required to remove your data, forcing the organization to forget about you. You might have heard about GDPR, but what does it mean to actually exercise your digital rights? DigiRights is a massive open online course that will help you both understand and exercise your digital rights. It's made simple so that you don't have to be a lawyer to participate. Check digirights.info out today.
That was it. Okay, there's a question. So how long will the course be available? We are going to have it open for everyone for 5 years. This is the last webinar that we're going to have, which has been sort of easing people into going through the course. But it's really available for everyone for the next 5 years in this address, digirights.info, or for Finnish, digioikeudet.info. And yeah, it'll be all out there and freely available. We will also have a link on the web page, which we don't have at the moment, since we've still been sort of fine-tuning the course. But we'll have a link to all the material, which is written in Google Docs. So it will be easy to, for example, copy paste all the material from there and to do anything with it that you want to do. But yeah, about 5 years, you'll be able to do that, at least. We also made the DigiRights info as sort of a nest or a resource for digital rights, to people to know about the digital rights. The digital world is becoming more and more important in our everyday life, and the GDPR seemed like a great opportunity to start creating this resource. Personally, I'm thinking that the next course could be on copyrights. But we'll need another funder for that. So if you haven't yet had time to get on the course, you can go to our webpage, digirights.info, and it will basically, first you have to enroll on the course, and it will send you an email with all the necessary details for you to access the course. If you have any problems with it, you can send me an email and ask for further instructions, and that's plummer@gmail.com. That's PLOMMER @gmail.com. I'm more than happy to help you to get on it. You can also find more about the course and the people who have participated on the course and who've been creating it on Facebook. We've created a page for the course, and it's facebook.com/digirights.info. You'll be able to see our page. There's some discussion about cases where GDPR is applied, and pretty interesting stuff as data protection goes. And yeah, please, if you have any questions about the course or how to get on it, or about general question about the GDPR, make it here. That's sli.do/digirights. Okay, there's a question, who's designed the graphics, the robot, etc. It's been done by Anu Raatikainen. It's a Finnish master of fine arts, and I think she's done a good job creating a mascot. The logo has been sort of, I made the raw design for it, that being the book with binary codes in it. But the sort of final version of that was made by made through Fiverr. There are several different robots. For example, there's one different robot for each of the nutshell parts, and the robot is basically doing different things related to a specific right. We also made a good animation for the lander page, but unfortunately, we were supposed to sort of restrict the triggering of the animation into part of that picture, and that's something that I wasn't able to find a person to finish. I'm still hoping to find somebody who will be able to do that. The animation actually looked pretty good. So please, if you have any questions about the course, GDPR, or how to get in, please let me know. Just ask your question here at sli.do/digirights. We've also we've also been doing some training sessions for people. The first one was for students in Tampere in Finland, and the second session was for pensioners, trainers. Basically, they are pensioners themselves who educate other pensioners on their digital rights. Oh, we have a visitor. Hi, Vladimir.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Glad you could make it.
Yes. So, are you waiting for questions?
I am indeed. Any questions about the GDPR or the how to get in on the course or the course material itself? Any feedback or questions is much appreciated.
Yes, I have a question and feedback and proposal.
Okay.
All together. And it is now we know very much about our digital rights.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish to go further. Do we have some place where we can benefit from this knowledge? I mean, best practices collection or case stories. For example, I was at some presentation of K Group, and they opened our data to users, data how we purchase groceries in supermarkets.
Yeah, like loyalty cards.
Yes.
Mm.
And each of them, S Group and K Group, wishes to serve us better by profiling our needs, like if I hate to waste plastics or if I'm vegetarian. But can we, I mean, as a user, we can control or use our data from both groups, in this case, from S Group and K Group. Can you combine this data just to find the cheapest grocery for my vegetarian taste in any case when I wish to buy something? So case stories like these, do we have something? Okay, or maybe MyData. I remember I was at this MyData conference last year, and they had several use cases in Finland. So something like this, I would be interested to see.
Right.
Where.
Yeah, so I guess that's really about the data portability.
Yes.
Where you can move your data from one service to another. And basically, the organization should be giving you the data in a machine-readable format, as well as a human-readable format. And then it can be downloaded to yourself, and you can then upload it to the new service, or you can ask them to transfer the data straight to the new provider, the new service provider. And about the case studies, well, one of the important, what makes this course powerful, if enough people use it, and they give the feedback on how the data request they made happened, we're able to collect that information and sort of make conclusions about some organizations, and like how hard was it for you to get that information, what did you get, and what sort of difficulties you faced in making that data request and getting the data back to you. So I think that's really the most important part of this course. It's also providing all of us citizens with the knowledge of how did you do with your data request, and all that information is treated anonymously, so it could be any of that service provider's customers.
We can start with this at least.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? We have quite a few people online there, so please make your questions. Anything that you wonder about the GDPR or the course itself, you can do it here. I will read your question out loud and then try to answer it. So it's sli.do/digirights. You can type in your question there, no need to register.
May I ask one more question?
Sure.
How long will be this link active? During how many months yet can I send some questions?
Well, these are really used for the webinars, but the LiveLearn platform also has a place for questions. So you'll be able to make questions there, and even though the project from our part is coming to a finish once everything's been fine-tuned, which it pretty much is, I'll still be visiting the course and answering possible questions that people have over it. Not promising to do it all the 5 years, but I will do it at least like this year. Every month I will go and see if people have put any questions there.
And do you plan like to transfer this course to some other places? Maybe you already answered this question. I mean, to some organizations that would do similar or the same thing, like licensing, or this.
Right. Yeah. So basically, the license is free. It's Creative Commons 4. So that means people can use it even commercially without asking our permission. All we ask is the attribution, so that if you use the course, you mention that where you got the material from, but that's it. So yeah, anybody can use it, and it will also. I'm in the process of making the final report for the course of the whole project, and we will tidy up a different part in our Google Drive, and they are already open. Anybody can access those now, but they're a little messy, so I will make it in a more orderly fashion, so people will be easier to find, for example, the budget, all the content of the course, and it'll be easy to copy and paste it to your own platform, for example.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, there's one question. So in the USA, there has been a recent scandal over phone companies selling location data. What happens if a European visits the US? I believe if a European goes to US, they are not under the GDPR jurisdiction anymore. No? Because, for example, if a person uses a VPN here, or like makes the sort of connection, if the servers are in US, it's fine to treat them as a person from US, right?
I think it is not like VPN. So if there is possibility to check that the person is European, to like support this checking by official data, like my passport data, I don't know.
Right.
We still under protection of GDPR if even we are outside of Europe.
I see.
I think.
Okay, that would make sense, because it really is. So, okay, let me correct that. If you didn't hear, Vladimir is a little far from the microphone, but so he says that, for example, when you make your registration or you buy services, and they ask you like, where are you from, like what national are you from, or what nationality are you, and if you're from European Union, then GDPR is in fact in effect. But that would be different. For example, if you visited a US newspaper like the LA Times, which prevents European, like people coming from European IP addresses to read that paper, then they are actually not showing you the news. they are just saying that because of GDPR we can't show you, basically because they are using all kinds of analytics that are not as tightly woven as the ones in Europe. So the question was, what happens if a European visits the US? The short answer is, if they at any point check your nationality and you're from Europe, then then you are under the GDPR regulation. Yeah, okay, so so this question was expanded a little. So if a European is roaming with his phone in US, I think they would actually have to, if you are using your mobile phone connection that you have bought in Europe, I think those rights would still prevail with the roaming, because the operators that give you the roaming capability in the US would have to deal with the European operator first, and then they would be knowing that you're coming from Europe. So that would really apply then.
May I comment? I don't know if you can hear me, but there are two types of registration for the mobile phones in Europe. One is that you have just supported, cleared, explained, and another is prepaid. In prepaid mode, when you buy a SIM card without showing your passport, nobody can know your identity.
That's right.
So even if you say I'm from the European Union, maybe it's not enough. But for the first case, when it is like subscription-based mobile.
Yeah, like a monthly subscription.
Yeah, then the operator knows your identity.
Right.
He can confirm without opening even your identity that this guy is from European Union. He is like protected by GDPR.
Right. Yeah. So what I just said doesn't really go for prepaid phones if you don't have to give you your nationality to them.
In some countries, even prepaid, they must show.
Yes, that's right. I don't actually know if you always have to prove your identity in the US. In Finland, you don't.
No, in the US also not. Not always.
Interesting questions. I'm learning myself here. Glad Vladimir joined us.
I'm learning too. Thank you. Because I'm interested in these things. I belong to MyData global network and to Open Knowledge Finland.
Okay, so again, the previous question was specified a little. It says, so a non-prepaid user could demand that US phone company delete the data. I would say that it doesn't mean they have to delete the data, but when they manage that data, they would have to respect the GDPR, because they know that you are not, that you are from European Union.
Yeah, one of the possibilities could be that you have rights to demand to delete. That's a special case.
Yeah, that's right. So if you ask them to delete that, they would have to do that.
Maybe, if it's according to GDPR law that they must obey you. But sometimes, like there is Freedom of Information Act, and you don't have to delete if it is for the public aims or something.
Yeah,
or
right.
If it's criminal case or something.
Yeah, there was some. There was cases that even if you're a European citizen, they wouldn't have to delete the data. So these are called the lawful basis for processing personal data. And one of them is if you've given them consent. One of them is a contract. So they wouldn't be able to service you under the contract if you remove the data. That's a valid reason for keeping some of that data. There's the legal obligation, like for example, banks have to retain your data for, in Finland, I think it's 20 years. There are vital interests. That's another lawful reason. The processing is necessary to protect someone's life. And the public task, for example, some electric companies, water utilities, they need to have your data for able to service you, like tasks under the law. And there are legitimate interests as well. That's like the sixth reason. Like for an example, you make a pizza purchase online by submitting the delivery address to the pizza merchant. The merchant has legitimate interest in fulfilling the delivery, where the processing of the subject's personal data, which is the address, also passes the necessary requirement. You can find all this information in our course. And there's good templates for making data requests, subject access requests, to exercise your digital rights. Try to make it as easy as possible. All you need to do is change your own details in the template, and you can send it off to the organization. We have another 10 minutes left. So please ask some questions. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have heard about company, I have met the CEO of this company, personaldata.io. It's for LIVESTREAM. And he like makes more than we offer here in digital rights course. Yeah, he even helps to protect our personal data when it is abused. Do you? Sorry, I was not at every meetup here. Do you advise to use this service, or is it beyond the scope of this course?
No, not really. Basically, Paul-Olivier De Hey has made this data request platform. It's in address personaldata.io, and it's really, instead of the Word documents, the templates that we provide, he's made those already. And basically, if I recall correctly, you basically just need to tick boxes to ask for different kinds of things from the organizations that have your data. We also link to that in the course, and we would recommend in using that.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah, there are some big international companies. I think there are at least 100 different companies that he's also fought them in court. Companies like Tinder and Uber, Facebook, there were quite a few. He's a bit of a data protection superstar.
One more.
Hang on. There's another question here. Is anyone measuring how many requests are made under the GDPR? Is there a way? Well, I think we had a number that something like 100,000 data requests have been made in Finland since the enforcement of the GDPR. But that's kind of hard for me to believe. Yeah, I don't think they actually have sort of, I haven't seen statistics of this, but we are making some statistics of our own. So if you if you make requests through this course, we'd like to really record those requests, and all you need to do is just write your feedback. We made ready forms for that already. Mostly that's just ticking boxes, so it's really quite fast to do. But the information that you can provide there is really quite crucial for all the citizens in Europe. Demo, you had a question?
Yeah, so there has been, I think it's not just a comment maybe. As far as I know, it's not really possible to measure those requests. It's almost like how many people knock on your door. It's a little bit tricky, or visit your reception. In principle, that data is captured, but gathering it is very difficult. But according to a recent survey by Sitra, the Finnish Independence Fund, in 4 countries, in each of those countries, between 7 and 10% of people had done a request, which seemed a ton.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to believe that.
Yes, so I don't know exactly how they phrased it, but I would also argue that research is better than guesswork. So then it's a matter of how they phrased it, but nonetheless, that's a figure that they scientifically researched 8,000 people from 4 countries, and I think that's 8,000. So they have 2,000 about in 4 different countries, and making sure that it's statistically represented. So,
okay.
So that was their finding.
I would imagine that out of this 7 to 10%, probably a big part is Facebook and Google, which have made it quite easy. And especially the Facebook download has been quite widely in the media. And I think a lot of people have tried that. But I think the fact if they actually made that or thought that data was useful or even had a look at it is a different matter. But I'm glad people are interested in.
It's probably worth checking out the research and seeing whether that research is great or nonsense.
Yeah, I've downloaded my own Facebook data a couple of times. It's actually ballooned a lot I think the first when they brought out that service some 3 years ago. I think it was something like 200 megabytes, and now it's gigabytes. Not 200, but like almost 3 gigabytes. Depending how active you've been in Facebook, though.
May I use the possibility that Teemu came here and repeat my question that you partially answered about best practices of digital rights? Teemu, do we have somewhere to find these digital rights use cases, stories, or best practices that we can like practically use now our knowledge about digital rights, like MyData? It was several cases at MyData conference. Do we have some place to go to, like personal data IO, MyData.com or something?
I'm not sure I understand what use cases exactly you are looking
for. Benefiting from knowledge of my digital rights. Like I explained, if I wish to compare my usage in S group and K group supermarkets and wish to buy next my best price vegetarian goods is in S supermarket or in core supermarket. market. Only me can do it if these data are interoperable. I don't know. That's why it's just one case that came to my mind. Some other cases like on traffic or I don't know, energy consumption.
So you want this list of cases?
Some places.
I'm not aware of such.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I think data portability is still quite new, and like moving your data from one service provider to another, I think is still developing quite heavily. I think only a few companies you can actually transfer that data in between them. I think some example might be these sort of fitness tracking systems, like you have on your mobile phone, sort of measuring how many steps have you taken or something like that. So that's the kind of info, but I think it will get better, especially if people ask for this data. So yeah. Okay, we got another 2 minutes, so you still have time to make your question. Just type it here. That's sli.do/digirights. Now's the time. Hard to say.
A lot of people.
Yeah, there was quite a few people online.
Maybe I will just post as a comment here the research on the. Maybe I'll put it as a question.
Okay, Teemu is going to post us the link to the research that he was talking about. It was measured in the Nordic countries, was it?
No.
Yeah.
It is 4 European countries.
Okay, 4 European countries.
So the Finland, Holland, the Netherlands, I should say, and Germany and France. Quite interesting countries.
So Finland, Germany, France, and the Netherlands.
Oh, sorry, I wrote it now as anonymous, but
that's okay.
I think the internet can survive.
So you can see that in the questions. Teemu's just posted it there. You have the link to the research. And this will stay on, so you can access the questions. I've replied some of them in text as well. So after this webinar is finished, you're still able to have a look at them. But I think our time is now up. And if you have any questions later on about the course, you can send them straight to my email. That's plommer@gmail.com. That's PLOMMER@gmail.com. And you also have these fields in the LiveLearn platform. You can make specific questions related to that module there, and we'll be visiting those every now and then, at least once a month, and replying your questions there. But thanks for your time and your interest, and I hope you get to go through this course and find out about your digital rights. Thanks.